Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates morning show. This morning we're chatting with the president of the Tobago Youth Council, Mr. Dayreon Mitchell. Good morning to you, Mr. Mitchell.
Good morning, Kayleigh. How are you today?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
I cannot complain at all.
Okay, great. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Persons know you in different capacities, but tell us about Dayreon Mitchell.
Okay, well, I'm first of all, the president of the Tobago Youth Council. I'm the GIS specialist at the Tobago Emergency Management Agency. I coach a volleyball club, player coach, along with football as well. So very diverse within the field of youth development.
Okay, wonderful. And let's talk a little bit about you in the capacity that you're representing this morning, Tobago Youth Council President.
Okay, so well, first of all, the Tobago Youth Council is an umbrella organization that oversees most of the NGOs throughout the island of Tobago. We usually work with the division sometimes as well as the ministry and other various NGOs across the island to achieve successful youth development programs across the island.
Okay. And last weekend, a group represented Tobago at the Caribbean Youth and Student Leaders Workshop Policy and Advocacy Training for a Sustainable Caribbean. Tell us about that program.
Well, there were 6 persons from Tobago who went across. It was a great time. It ran from the 12th to the 15th. Primarily what it dealt with is showing young persons as well as student leaders and youth leaders how to develop policies and how to advocate in a professional manner to achieve different goals or objectives, whether it be with politicians, with administration, or within their schools itself. So it was very insightful and it was very good in terms of the information, how it was delivered. It was very interactive. Well, it was also hosted by the St. Lucia National Youth Council as well as the Ministry for Youth Development and Sports.
Okay, and you mentioned the St. Lucia National Youth Council. We have the Tobago Youth Council, Trinidad Youth Council. I understand that there's an umbrella organization for all the national youth councils. Tell us a bit about that organization.
Okay, so that will be basically under the Caribbean Regional Youth Council, correct? Where the presidents would hold a seat for each NYC. So it's sort of like a mini CARICOM for us. So we come together annually to meet to discuss plans, develop programs, as well as see how best we can collaborate in terms of facilitating youth development throughout the Caribbean and not just on a local level.
Okay, and in terms of being able to apply for these sorts of opportunities, how can persons access this?
Okay, so you could always use social media. You can follow your local youth council pages, the Tobago Youth Council, the Trinidad Youth Council. There's also one on Instagram called Opportunities for Youth. So that's opportunities, the number for youth.
Okay, great, wonderful. And let's talk a little bit about the Tobago Youth Council and what they're doing right now in the Tobago space. Because your executive, you all came into office sometime last year. Let's talk about some of the things that you all would have done from then to now.
Wow, that's a lot. Between then to now, we developed a program called Career Catalyst. It usually runs during the summertime, so it will be coming back again this year. It's usually to help persons develop skill sets to help them attain a job. So cover CV letter writing, interview prep, public speaking, as well as we also incorporated last year how to start a business and or manage a business. We did a lot of consultations with NACC and various other ministries. But going forward, we want to do a segment called Youth Talks, where we hosted once a month with various NGOs such as JCI. We'll have Rotaract on board as well. I know you're part of Rotaract, as well as various other NGOs. Will be hosted once a month, as well as bringing back Career Catalyst. Based on the workshop that we would have attended, one of the things that I wanted to do would have been to do a youth policy and advocacy workshop for student leaders, primarily student councils and student leaders within the different high schools.
Okay, wonderful. Definitely a great job so far by the Tobago Youth Council executive. And when we started, you told us a little bit about yourself, GIS specialist, Tobago Youth Council president, among many other things. What drove you to choose this path of youth development? To choose this path, sorry.
Well, when I was younger, someone said, well, I used to complain about certain issues, and they said, if you have a problem with it, then go and fix it. And I said, okay. So when I was in sixth form at the Signal Hill Secondary School, I ran for student council president and started making changes from there. Then from there, I was captain for football teams. I would have moved on to the university level where I held two consecutive positions on the executive for the Guild of Students. Then I moved on to the Tobago Youth Council for two consecutive terms. And basically that's where we are now. But there's a lot in between, but for the interest of time, we'll just leave it at those.
Oh no, we have a lot of time. You can talk as much as you want to. Okay, so let's get back to the workshop. What are some of the key takeaways from the workshop? Some of the things that stuck with you from the training sessions?
For me, one of the most important things, or the thing that stood out to me the most, was how you approach administration in terms of the policies you want to implement. And sometimes we as young people, we get emotional when we're trying to approach administration. And emotional intelligence, as well as understanding how to approach an administration, is very important as well, because the manner in which you approach them will also have a big impact on how they see you as an individual, as well as how they would have seen the organization. But just a question to you, I knew you were a part of the workshop as well. So what was your key takeaway from the workshop?
I mean, there were a lot of interesting things that we spoke about in the workshop. But one of them was one of the facilitators. She spoke about a strategy to get the administration on board. So you could have a petition and you let a lot of people sign it, and you bring it to them. You let them know that this is what you want to do, and if they shut it down, you just let them know. Well, these 200 people on this paper, I'm going to let them know that we put this forward, and you all did not agree to it. And this guy from Grenada, no, it wasn't Grenada. She was talking about the Too Young to Run campaign. And that was in a country where they wanted persons to be 40 plus to be able to run for prime minister or president, basically leadership positions in the country. And the young persons did a Not Too Young to Run campaign, and they were able to make the administration agree that they aren't too young to run, just like Marshall sang, too young for soca.
Too young for soca.
Yeah, so I think that was something that stood out to me, definitely.
Okay, I also saw that you had some pictures with a senator. You could tell us what that experience was like.
Wow, the interview is becoming the interview. Wow. That was Senator Lisa. Her last name is extremely difficult to pronounce, and I really don't want to butcher it. She's a senator there in St. Lucia, and I found her to be very inspiring. I would definitely I followed her on social media. She followed me back, so
kudos to you.
I definitely want to continue that sort of communication with her, because she is extremely inspiring. She started her political career at age 30, and from what she would have said, her experience then to where she is now, it is very commendable, because she was shy. She had no experience in the political space, and she's trying to change that for young persons. She did a period poverty campaign, because that was something that was kind of taboo to them there in St. Lucia, especially the administration, because of the age and obviously it's males. So she started that campaign, and I think that was extremely commendable. So kudos to you, Senator. Very, very inspiring, and I hope that we can continue that communication.
I also saw that she would have had them remove. She had them remove the taxes on sanitary products for females. And I think that's something we should also look into, especially within the youth space in Tobago and Trinidad, because just something as simple as that, we know women usually advocate for these things. So I think that is a great insight, and that's something we could also mirror from St. Lucia as well.
Yeah, I think that's something that we should definitely try to adopt here. Taxes, removing the taxes on sanitary products, and that alone, I mean, in schools as well, a lot of times you have to pay for sanitary products, and that's something, we should just have free sanitary products in schools, because not all the times persons can afford it. There are lots of young girls who can't go to school when they are on their period. They have to stay home because, just the knowledge in general, access to the products and knowledge on how to use it, knowledge on your menstrual cycle and that sort of thing. That's something that we should definitely introduce within the Tobago space. But back to you. I know that sometimes being a youth leader can be a lonely road, and we learned about that in the workshop. Being a youth leader, being a youth advocate, it can be a very lonely road. What is your motivation? What continues to motivate you throughout your journey?
My motivation, I think it's seeing other persons succeeding as well as bringing out that level of confidence in them. Because as you said, the senator was shy at first, but that meant that someone would have believed in her to give her that position. And that's something I usually believe in. Sometimes you see the potential in someone, but they're too shy. So just giving them the opportunity to develop themselves or to be a better person or to bring out that level of confidence is something that really motivates me or drives me. Giving persons the opportunities that you never had when you were growing up, as well as advancing their abilities or their skills.
Okay. And what are some of the challenges that you would have faced so far on your youth development journey, and how did you overcome them?
As with everyone, there are persons who are going to like you, persons who won't like you, persons who will try to demotivate you, whatever their various reasons are. But once you are true to yourself and Father God is with you, then you shouldn't have any issues going forward.
Okay. And Mr. Mitchell, what advice do you have for young persons who are probably interested in youth work, youth development? What advice do you want to give to them?
The most I could say is be as involved as possible. Being involved in youth work or volunteerism adds to your resume. In addition to that, it also helps you to develop various skills, and it also helps you to network. At the end of the day, your network is your net worth. So try your best to be involved as possible, give back into various ways, whether it be in sport, academic, etc. Learn to develop a skill and be the best you that you can possibly be.
Okay, wonderful. And who would you like to thank, not only for the workshop that we spoke about, or not only TYC, but in general, the persons who would have helped you become who you are today?
First of all, I'd like to thank God. My parents and my family, they stand beside me. My friends, my spouse, and the persons as well as within the division of sports and youth affairs. They would have given the funding to assist some of the persons to go across as well. So I'm very grateful for that to the administrator, the director of youth, the youth officers, as well as Mr. Skeeter as well, who would have been a very important person who usually assists me and guides me in terms of ensuring that that level of professionalism is always there despite what is taking place in the youth space.
Okay, wonderful. And before we go, let's just tell the viewers a little bit about what the Tobago Youth Council has in store for the young people of Tobago.
Okay, so coming up, we will be having youth talks. It will be hosted on the first Wednesday in every month, spanning from June to October. In addition to that, we would also be having career catalysts. We'll be having CV writing, interview prep, as well as various skill sets development programs so that you can attain a job. As well as we want to do the student leader workshop based on policy and advocacy for the incoming student councils, because I know most of them have their elections going on shortly. So we're aiming for September, as well as with the division of education, health, wellness, social protection, as well as youth development and youth and sport. We want to have a school health quiz hosted within the time frame of September, as well as International Youth Day will be coming up in August. So we have been already in the planning phases with the division of youth affairs and sports.
Okay, so you're speaking about collaborations with the Division of Youth Affairs and Sports, the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection also. Just tell the viewers a little bit about your connection with the administration, with the divisions, how easy it is for you to be able to collaborate. Do you all have a good relationship? What are the conversations like?
We do have a great working relationship because respect is given throughout the room. So what we try to do is see how best all parties can benefit from the programs going forward, because everybody usually has a campaign in which they will have to focus on youth development, as we would usually have limited resources, and the different divisions would also have resources that would be able to assist us. So it's all about cost saving as well as being mutually beneficial to each other.
Okay, and I know recently you won an award with the Caribbean Regional Youth Council. Tell us a little bit about that award. That was sometime last year.
Well, ideally that award was a tie, and funny enough, it was the St. Lucia National Youth Council President and I that won the award for youth leader in terms of NGO. It was unexpected to me, but I guess sometimes different persons do see the hard work that you are doing, whether it's publicized or not.
Okay. Well, Mr. Mitchell, we want to thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us this morning. Congratulations to you on all the work that you have been doing. We're extremely proud of you, and we do encourage you to keep up all of the good work. Viewers, we're going to be taking a short break, and we are going to be right back. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.